Hi, I'm Johnny from UltimatePaperMache.com, and this week I did an experiment. I made this pumpkin. I'm not going to get any design awards for it, I know, but I wanted it, to be happy, and I think I at least got to that point. And the reason I did this is because for the last, I don't know how many years now, I have been watching someone else's YouTube video over and over again thinking, that's something that I could use. It was made by the Hollywood Haunter. It's a couple who make a lot of foam sculptures. Every time you make something out of foam and you want to put it outside, you have to put a hard coating on it. And those hard things that they put on them are usually waterproof. In this case, the Hollywood Haunter made a big foam pumpkin, huge one. They smoothed it off with plaster over the foam, and then over that they used as a hard coating some Flex Bond mortar. Now I don't have access to Flex Bond mortar unless I drove 100 miles to a Home Depot, so I got what was available at my local Lowe's, and that was called Mache Ultra Color Plus. I also didn't use the foam because I wanted it hollow. I wanted to be able to put a light in there so that the light would come out of his mouth and his eyes. And so instead of using the foam with plaster over it, I used a plaster cloth with no foam. It has the mortar over the plaster cloth. Over that, it's got 2 coats of a spray clear coat, and it's got some spray paint over it. So it really should be as waterproof as you can get. And of course, now you're saying to yourself, wait a minute, there's no paper mache in there. And that's true. If you'd like to make a paper mache clay pumpkin that you can put a light inside because it's hollow, and you want to put it outside, our friend Jay over at Unhinged Productions has several really nice videos out there on his channel that will show you how to do it. Now, Jay also has a really good video where he explains why no matter what you put on paper mache or paper mache clay, if you leave it outside in the rain, it is going to soften. That means the water is going to get inside, then you'll have to bring it back inside and dry it off. And it's okay if you're just making Halloween ornaments like I did this time, but I was kind of looking for something more than that. I wanted to see if we can create permanent outdoor sculptures with products that maybe cost a little bit more than paper mache, but that are just as easy to use. Now remember, this is an experiment, and sometimes experiments don't work, so I will keep you posted to let you know if this is affected in any way by the weather for the next 3 weeks or however long I decide to keep it out. Now this didn't take very long to do. It was really fun and it was really easy. So if you'd like to do this experiment with me, let me show you how I did it. I started off by packing plastic bags inside of another plastic bag, and then once I had the top tied off tightly, I used some twine to give it sort of a pumpkin-y shape. I didn't spend as much time on this as I could have, but it still ended up sort of like a pumpkin. Now, once the twine goes on there, it does need to be covered with masking tape because plaster cloth won't stick to plastic. I also made a really big boo-boo when I was doing this because I thought that I could use the knot at the top of the plastic bag and the ends of the twine on the inside of the stem. It made it really hard to get the plastic out of there, so don't do that. I do recommend using the aluminum foil for the stem, but just not wrapping it around the cord. Now, the next step is to draw the face that you want onto the masking tape. You'll probably want to draw a few faces out on paper first. You can also find some really cool ideas out on YouTube, and there's even some books on how to carve pumpkins. You can go ahead and use any of those designs too if you don't want to design one of your own. I plugged in my hot glue gun, and then I tore off quite a few sheets of aluminum foil, maybe 3 or 4 inches wide. I crumpled them into kind of long ropes, and I used the hot glue to attach them right to the masking tape around the outside edges of my lines. This is going to give some definition to the pumpkin's face, and it's also going to make it really easy to make sure that those holes are already in the pumpkin when we take the plastic bags out from the inside of it. We're not going to have to do any cutting. I also created a big circle at the bottom. You want to do this so that you can remove the plastic bags, and if you're using one of these little LED lights like I did in order to light up your pumpkin, you want to make sure that the hole you make is big enough so the little light can actually fit through it. Now here's another boo-boo that I did. Like I said, it was an experiment, so I was kind of making things up as I went along. But it did turn out that the plaster cloth does not like sticking to the aluminum foil, and I really should have covered it with more masking tape. The next step was to cover it with plaster cloth. I like using 2 pieces of plaster cloth at a time and using warm water. I used 1 full roll of 6-inch wide plaster cloth for this pumpkin. There was maybe just a little bit left over. I did have to pay special attention to get the plaster cloth nice and smooth over the aluminum foil parts because, like I said, it really didn't want to stick to it. So that just took a little bit of extra time to get that right. And you also obviously don't want to cover the holes, the eyes and the mouth and the hole at the bottom with plaster cloth. You want those to stay open. Now the next step, of course, was just to wait for the plaster cloth to get hard. You don't want to start taking the plastic bags out of there until it's really nice and stiff. So it'll seem to be stiff right away, just within a few minutes, but you really need to leave it for maybe another hour or 2 until you really know for sure that you're not going to be distorting the shapes when you pull those plastic bags out. Once the plaster cloth was nice and hard, I cut away some of the masking tape from the hole at the bottom, which wasn't quite as easy as it should have been because I really need a new pair of scissors. But I got that done, and then I started pulling the bags from inside. Once all the bags have come out, then you can actually pull the masking tape out too. The plaster cloth doesn't stick permanently to the masking tape. Now this is the point where I decided it might be a good idea to check and see if that hole I made was big enough for the LED lights. You'll obviously want to do that before you put the plaster cloth on. The inside edges of the holes weren't as clean and nice and smooth as I really wanted them to be, so I used a nice sharp box cutter to clean those up a little bit. Now I started to mix up the grout. It comes in a lot of different colors, but I don't think pumpkin orange is one of them, so I just picked out a gray. I used 1 part water and 3 parts of the powder and mixed it up as thoroughly as I could. There's really very specific directions on how to mix it. The directions say to use power mixers, and you let it rest for a little while and then you mix it some more. I was only using just a small amount, so I just used a stick and didn't pay a lot of attention to the rules, but it seemed to come out okay anyway. I did have to add just a teensy bit more water, but that was easy enough to do. I wanted it thin enough so that I could brush it on. I used one of the cheap chip brushes, and it went on really easy. It wasn't easy to get it smooth. I think you probably could if you really worked at it. I kind of played around with trying to smooth it off with a rubber spatula. I tried smoothing it off with my gloves, and nothing really came out all that smooth. I put just 1 coat on the outside at first, let that harden for a couple of hours. Then I turned it over and put another coat of the grout on the inside of the pumpkin and set it right side up again and put another coat on the outside. So the inside has 1 coat, the outside has 2 coats. Now I'm sure you already know this, but it's really important to remember that you don't want to wash out your utensils or your cup or even your hands in the sink when you're using either plaster cloth or this grout, because both of them will harden underwater. And that means you can really mess up your plumbing if you get any of this powdered stuff inside of the pipes underneath your sink. So make sure that you rinse things out in a nice big bucket of water, and then you want to pour out that water out in your yard somewhere. And you want to do that fairly soon so it doesn't have a chance to actually stick to the bottom of your bowl. At this point, my pumpkin was really close to being finished. Now, the first thing that went on was a clear coat. This happens to be a Valspar brand, but any brand will work. Wanted to spray it first so that it would seal that grout just a little bit so that it wouldn't take up quite so much paint in order to get the orange on there. Now I sprayed the outside and the inside of the pumpkin with this spray. When the clear coat was dry, but the pumpkin was still down in the basement, I sprayed the inside of it with the black spray paint, and then I turned it over and sprayed the outside with pumpkin colored orange. finish. It took about an hour before it was dry enough for me to be able to pick it up and bring it back upstairs so I could finish it. After that, I used a little bit of acrylic paint that I had at the house just to make the stem a little different color, made some stripes on it, and just trying to make it look a little bit more natural. I used some white paint to give some highlights on the eyes and to paint the teeth white. Obviously, if I was really carving a pumpkin, they wouldn't end up being white, but I liked having them stand out a little bit better, so I went ahead and used my paint for that. As soon as all of the acrylic paint was dry, I took it back down to the basement and I gave it one more coat of the clear coat so that everything will be sealed up tight. Now, as soon as the paint was dry, it was time to add the light. I used a little set that I got off of Amazon. There's 2 of them. It actually comes with a little remote control thingy. The instructions say that your little remote thing will let it stay on for 2 hours and then off for 22 hours. But it also says that when it's off, it's still using up your battery. So they suggest that you actually just go ahead and manually turn it off. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, getting it in there, I'm sure that there'd be some fancy way to attach it up, like inside, high up somehow or another so they can't see it. But I decided to do something really, really low tech. I got out a pint wide mouth jar and put the little battery, oops, I'll turn it on now. Turn it on. Just stuck it right there. I'm trying to keep the light from getting wet. That's the important part. I'm putting it in there really tight so that the water can't get in. And then I just pop the pumpkin right on top of it. And that seemed to work just fine. This is how it actually looks outside. My camera isn't great at really, really low light situations, but I think it looks pretty cool. Now remember, I'm going to put videos down below in the description under this video so you can see the Hollywood Haunter video that I've been watching over and over again all this time. That's the one that has the foam sculpture. And I'm also going to put several links down below for videos that I want you to watch for sure if you decide you want to make your pumpkin out of paper mache instead. And those are by the Unhinged Productions fellow. Jay's got some fantastic videos on that. I want to make sure that you see those. Now, I also want to mention that the Hollywood Haunter video that I've been watching all those times, they do say that the mortar mix that they put on the outside of that particular pumpkin, that's not their first choice for hard coating foam. For that, they use a 2-part epoxy clear coat from Smooth On, and I'm going to try that next. I'm actually going to order some and try that on another sculpture just to see if that'll work too. I'm going to be watching this guy really closely in the next couple of weeks just to see how well it holds up outside. It's going to be really cold probably part of the time. It's going to get really wet in just in a couple of days. We're going to have some strong sunlight on him, all the things that can really mess up a sculpture fast. And he's going to get hit with all of it in the next 3 weeks. I'm going to pay really close attention to it, and I will let you know in an upcoming video, did this experiment work? Now, if you have any experience already in using these particular products to create a permanently waterproof sculpture that can stay outside for a year or more, please let us know. If you want to do this experiment with us, I hope that you'll chime in and let us know what you find out. Is it working for you? Do you see any damage at all after it's been outside for a while? What happened to it? We want to know. In the meantime, be sure to go make something and then come visit me, ultimatepapermache.com. I'll see you there.